The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 100 times your entry with Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Sign up with NBA SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code NBA SGPN. We're also brought to you by the Mega Memorial Merch Sale, 15% off everything in the SGPN merch store with promo code SGPN May. Yes, sir. We're back with another edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no guy. It's me, really real, villain real. Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Oh, man. Another day, another lock hit. I have now, and this is no jinx. This is me just stating the facts for the people, but I am now 5-0 on my locks to begin the year. That's the good news. The bad news is, however, is that I am now 1-4 after starting 1-0 on my dogs. I am now 1-4 on my dogs. Very, very piss poor production for me in the dog plays, but the locks have been coming through. So, I'm not going to complain too much here. Got my co-host here, Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what is going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, doing okay. Had a decent episode last time out. Close to the sweep, didn't get it. Had a Reichel over 24.5 points. Had 20 after 3. Finished with 24, which sucks, but at least the dog got there. Had the Sparks money line parlayed with the Dream money line that got there, as they ended up winning both those games. Kind of close, but either way, they ended up cashing at around plus 140. So can't complain. Could have been better, could have been worse, but was that close to a sweep? Didn't get it.
Yeah, very, very close. And hey, man, Scott, 3 of the 5 dogs this season you have cashed. 3 plus 245, plus 240, plus 140. Scott, talk about ROI. Talk about ROI. I mean, I need to get like you. I need to get like you and hit some more of these dogs. Yeah, it is Thursday, but oh well, second. Okay, all right.
Thursday, I set it up
23rd.
because we're recording on the 22nd for the 23rd. That was kind of the point, but.
Oh, okay. I ain't know. I mean, it made sense.
Fair point. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It made sense.
It made sense.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh man. All right. Hey, first of all, before we get to the picks and talking about everything in the games, and we could do whoa, stop playing there. But I have to say, appreciate all the love that we are getting from everybody on YouTube. And they're pushing up. We're getting some more views. We could use more. Not gonna lie, we could use more. Tell a friend of a friend. Tap into the show. But yeah, no, we getting a whole bunch of couple of comments here going in. I'm looking through trying to read some of the comments. I don't even think I've seen like too many. I mean, the bad comments were on Twitter. The one guy that said that do we just be picking games and instead of actually,
that made me
winning.
laugh. That made me laugh.
I think that's hilarious because again, Scott is what's 3 of 5, 60%.
That's just for dogs. So
yeah, so 60% on his dogs. I'm 100% on my locks. Like, come on now. No offense, but some of your picks suck badly. What picks suck badly? Like,
I mean, some. Yeah, we're not going to bet 100. We're
yeah,
not
we're
going to
not.
bet 1,000.
Some, but shoot. We're hitting crazy numbers as a show, and you can't bet everything. I think that's the big thing that everybody needs to understand, Scott. You can't bet everything. Yeah, we may give you a lean. We may say, hey, we like this, but if we're not explicitly saying, hey, we're betting this, hey, we're really on this, then I mean, it's just a lean. I'm not betting everything. Like I didn't end up betting Mystics and Sparks. I didn't do it. I wanted to get there on the Sparks so bad, and I was really upset because I did like them, but I didn't end up getting there, and very much so. Here we go. Oh, he was talking about my disguise in this one. Where's the one where the guy said the nice stuff? I want to shout him out. I just can't find it. Somebody KJL said I sound like Tarasi towards the new listeners. That's funny. Best in the business. Thanks, guys. This show should be every day there's a WNBA game. Well, guess what? If you help us get some more listeners and we start bringing some more money in, 100%, I would love to go every day, but can't do that. The budget doesn't allow it. We killed the slate. Yeah, look at that. Everybody listening. AT, not ET, AT, Alyssa Thomas, for the person that asked that question. All right. Let's see. Why would you have Clark under 19.5 points the other day?
I'm assuming he's
Because
talking to you because I don't think we didn't do a show for.
no, we had it in underdog. We put it in
for
underdog.
underdog.
One day.
Okay.
Yeah, and she,
Right.
I think she had, that was the day she had 20. So that was the reason the underdog lineup didn't cash that day. So I mean, all right, bro. All right, I guess you got it. We said under 19.5 points and she had 20. You got it. My fault. That joint was way off. That joint sucked really bad. No, but it's all good. I appreciate you keeping us honest when we lose. I do. I appreciate you keeping us honest. All right, here we go, Scott. Before we talk about the games and what's moving on for Thursday slate, got to talk to you about the biggest week in racing: the Indy 500, the Monaco Grand Prix, and Coke 600. Rod and Cody have everything going from the NASCAR Gambling Podcast, and I'm telling y'all, take some of these winnings. And just invest in NASCAR for a weekend. I'm telling you, I've done it plenty of times. Just go listen to the pod, invest in NASCAR for the weekend, and just enjoy the extra cash, enjoy the banter, enjoy all of that. So make sure you tap in to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And they're also having a Kyle Larson diecast card giveaway that's free to enter. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/race. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/race to register and subscribe to the NASCAR and F1 Gambling Podcast. And don't forget, we're running that mega memorial merch sale. 15% off everything in merch store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. And you can use that promo code SGPN May. That's SGPN May. And you can go out there. Hey, Scott, they just got these jackets that are fired. These like windbreaker jackets. I'm about to go get one. They're tough. So make sure you tap into our merch sale for that 15% off mega Memorial Day merch sale. Dang, got something in my eye. My giant hurt. All right, Scott. Yo, last night's games were great. I think before we get into it, I don't think there's any stock there, but I'll ask you, is there any stock in a double-digit loss by the Aces to the Mercury?
I would say no, because Copper turned into an absolute lunatic, but I do think it goes back to what we said before going into that game. We did like the Mercury plus the points because they don't look very good, the Aces don't, without Chelsea Gray. We talked about it. I mean, Gray, we think, is their second best player. She's their starting point guard. Jackie's taken over the point guard responsibilities, but something feels off. And I know 98 points defensively is definitely a terrible showing by the Aces because they gave up a ton of points. But, I mean, Copper had an out-of-body experience. She had back-to-back 37, 38-point games, so she was fantastic. That's probably not going to be sustainable. Asia did her thing. She played well. Even Plum played well. She had 27 points in that game, and they still lost. So I would say that it doesn't mean anything long-term because the Aces are still going to be the class of the league, and they're still going to have a great record and everything like that. But I am going to at least throw it out there that they definitely look significantly worse when their second-best player is not playing, which sounds obvious, but I'm going to state it because we know how good Chelsea Gray is. So I don't know if it matters per se about the regular season long-term. For the playoffs, if Gray is going to be out for potentially the entire season, then I do think you're looking at a spot where the Aces might be vulnerable to maybe not three-peat. But I believe Chelsea Gray is expected to return at some point late in the season, correct?
Yes, she is.
So I'm not going to fully overreact to it. But right now, they're 0-3 ATS. We talked about it already.
And this,
I didn't learn anything new about it, did you? I just learned that the Mercury are pretty good, and Clea Copper was a great addition to the team.
I think last year, any other team opposing the Aces money line was kind of out of the question. I mean, maybe we took it a few times to have some fun, but like it was kind of out of the question. I don't think it's kind of out of the question now. And I think that the Mercury just reminded me that this team is beatable. They had a really, really good game plan. And I mean, Caribbean Freddy said well, no, we got to go back into YouTube. Who said, how come there aren't that many WNBA betting channels on YouTube? and Caribbean Freddie came back with WNBA sucks other than a few players. It's actually a lot of good players in the W. A lot of good players. Kalia Copper is averaging.
I think to answer your question, who I
31.3.
just think people prefer to watch other leagues. That's right now.
Yeah,
WNBA is growing, but I think just most people prefer to watch, especially because there's overlap right now with WNBA and the NBA. And you have the Western Conference Finals going on tonight. I just think more people care about that, obviously, than WNBA. So people don't spend their
but
time
the
researching.
viewership is up. Like the viewership is up across the
It's
league.
going up
And so,
now,
like,
but I'm saying in
yeah,
general, compared to other sports, it's still behind, but they're working
it's
on it.
just it's a content hole. It's a content hole. People are like now watch because the first year we did the show, I swear we were the only WNBA gambling podcast. I swear we were. The first season, season 1, we were the only WNBA gambling podcast. Season 2, I just so happened to notice a couple of other VSiN dropped one. I think it's Action Network dropped something. Like I noticed a couple of other places trying to drop a pod, and then it's just kind of gotten a little bit bigger, and that's why we're getting some more
It's growing,
viewers this year.
but
Yeah,
people are still mostly focused on the playoffs right now.
it's
Which is
when that's
expected.
the dead of summer. When it gets to the dead of summer, and all you have is WNBA and baseball, and you're waiting for I don't know the Olympics or something to show up. Like, yeah, I think that's the biggest numbers that we're probably gonna do, and hopefully, well, I would love it is when everybody else is bored, no hockey, no NBA, and hey, come tap in for the banking, for the betting for sure. All right, man. All right, the chat is crazy. The chat is insane right now. All right, Mercury really good. The Mercury are good. Like I think that they're a very solid team, and I'm looking forward to see them in the future. Way better than last year for sure. Way better than last year, and we didn't even keep the points. Keep the points in that 16.5 against the Aces. All right. Now, let's actually get to the games. I'm sorry for the delay. I had to talk about that Aces game. But before we do that, last thing, Underdog Fantasy, easiest place to play fantasy sports. And you can play the fantasy pick 'em higher or lower on player stats as points, rebounds, and assists. And you can mix WNBA with NBA, with NHL, with golf, with MMA, with anything they offer. You can mix it all. So make sure you 100% do that. Underdog is available in 30 plus states, including California, Texas, and Canada. We're going to drop Underdog. Well, I don't know if we are. I don't think there's any plays up. But Underdog. Make sure. Oh yeah, Florida. Don't forget to tap in Florida too. Their player versus player format in Florida. Sign up with NBA SGPN. That's NBA SGPN for a special pick and 200 first time deposit offer up to $250. Underdog.com, underdogfantasy.com. Promo code NBA SGPN. All right, let's see here. Next first game up on the docket for a Thursday in the W. We have, if
I
it'll
see a
pull
Lynx
up, there
Sun.
we go. The
That's the first game.
Lynx, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Minnesota Lynx traveling to Connecticut, play the Connecticut Sun. Everybody is tapped into their charter flights now, Scott. We've gotten to the point. Everybody's riding the charter flights. So comfortable, well, somewhat comfortable. I don't know if you heard Sophie Cunningham describe it, but she was like, hey, some people planes is bigger than others. And that's a fact of life, Scott. Some people have bigger planes than others. Like absolutely. That is a fact. Some people have smaller planes. But it's not about how big or small your plane is. It's about how you flow in the air. And unfortunately, the Mercury flew the team in one plane, and then their bags had a whole completely different flight and didn't ride with them, and they split. I think they split some of the team up too. She was talking about a lot of things, and so I thought that was interesting. That I'm sure Mark Davis has his team riding cushy and nice, but some other teams might
I don't
not
know.
be getting the best
They have like
treatment.
10K right in the seat in front of them. Like in the
That
in the
joint's like a
table.
Cessna.
They take
They're
the tray
probably
table
riding
down. There's like a 10K package just waiting for the players for Vegas. But
I think they're riding a little Cessna around. All right, here we are. Lynx catching 6.5. Open up at 7.5. Catching 6.5 on the road here. 164.5 is the total for this one. Let's check Underdog and see if we have any injury updates for this game. I see. Well, Rachel Banham is questionable on Thursday with a concussion. That's a bench piece for the Connecticut Sun. So Rachel Banham And also, please, people, ask questions. Ask questions. If we're throwing out names and you don't know which team this person is on, or it, like, throw out questions for sure. I be forgetting about that. Everybody's not as versed in. But Rachel Banner for the Connecticut Sun, bench player. She has a concussion. She's questionable for Thursday. I do not see anything else for this game. Scott, 6.5 with the Connecticut Sun at home. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's tricky to fully evaluate the Lynx up to this point because they've been really good, but they've only played one team. And I'm not sure how good Seattle's going to be. I thought they were going to be really good, but I thought potentially it might take some time for them to get going. And so far, they don't even look that good. So I'll see what happens moving forward. But Minnesota's 2-0. Collier's been incredible. Her stat line's insane. As for the Sun, it's kind of a similar story because they were 3-0. They beat the Fever, who right now might be the worst team in the league, and they beat the Mystics, who also might be one of the worst teams in the league. So I haven't really learned anything about either of these teams yet. I'm still working on it. I think Minnesota's better than I thought they were going to be, but I kind of would like to see them against different competition. As for Connecticut, though, they killed Indiana in the first game, beat Washington by 7, then beat Indiana by 4, and again, they almost lost. Now, I think for this game, I think I actually am going to lean to the points with Minnesota. I think 6.5 feels like a lot. I haven't really seen Connecticut dominate. They dominated the first game. They haven't really done so since. And I do think the Lynx are better than both the Mercury and the Fever right now by a decent margin. So for me, I'm going to go with Minnesota. I'm intrigued by Minnesota. I think Minnesota's a team. We know how good Collier is. So far, it seems like the team is gelling properly, and they look good against Seattle. They showed some solid mental toughness after choking away that fourth quarter in the second game against Seattle, and they responded well. They came back and they won in double overtime. So they were able to deal with the choke job. They managed to come back, and they were able to win, which I was impressed by. So I'll go with Minnesota. If Connecticut wins at home by margin, I wouldn't be shocked because, once again, they are very good in Mohegan Sun Arena. But I do think that based on where the spreads are located, Minnesota has shown me a bit more so far, just based on, I'd say, closing the gap between these teams. I think 6.5 is too many. I'll link to Minnesota. It's not like a slam dunk play, but I kind of want to see Connecticut face off against actual top tier teams first instead of beating up on basically two bottom feeders right now. No offense to Indiana, but right now they're a bottom feeder. They're 0-4.
Yeah, but is Minnesota? I mean, Minnesota is good. Like, I like Minnesota, but are they top tier? Like, they've always been middle of the pack. And
No, but they're a playoff.
Looking at last season, yeah, but like that always doesn't say anything. Like, looking at last season and what they did last season against this team, Minnesota won 2 games. They won 87-83 as 12-point dogs, and they won 82-75 as 8.5-point dogs. The other 3 games that they played, they won Connecticut 79-69, 90-60, and 90-75. And so those last 3, 90-75, 82-75, and 90-60 were in the playoff series, where Connecticut did win that series 2-1 to go on to the next round. Is this revenge?
I feel like the spread is kind of right. I think it's where it probably should be, but since I'm having a hard time with it, and since I do think Minnesota has, at least just so far, it looks like they have the roster to potentially compete with this team for 40 minutes. I think Minnesota is going to be my look, but unless you want to just take Connecticut at home and back AT, but I kind of want to see Connecticut into an actual good team before I suddenly crown them as being, in a tier above Minnesota.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to go the opposite way. We know Connecticut is one of the top 3 teams in the league. We already know this. So I actually think I'm just going to trust Connecticut in being a top team and make Minnesota prove it to me, and make Minnesota prove to me that they're a good team, because I saw this. Well, maybe not the second game, but I saw Minnesota winning the first game, and we cashed them as a pretty nice dog. And this has been a team that's given them some fits over the years. And I did cash the revenge angle with the Dream. Nah, I'm still going with Connecticut. Give me Connecticut, laying 6.5. It's close. If it was a little bit more than that, if I was getting closer to 8, I might have changed my mind. But I'm gonna just go ahead and take the Sun, and hopefully they win by more than 6.5. Connecticut Sun, laying 6.5. I just think that they're the better team. I really do. I think they're the better team, and I would love Rachel Bell to play because that's a revenge game narrative on her end. But I think Nafisa Collier is still going to be able to get hers. But I think that this Sun team defensively, they're going to crash down on Courtney Williams. They're going to crash, who has a revenge game in her own right in this one, and they're going to crash down on Kayla McBride, who is very, very questionable from three sometimes. She had a good game at home, rough game on the road, and I think that means a lot. So I'll go ahead and take the Connecticut Sun in this one. But that's a really tough one for me. It's early in the season. 164.5 is the total.
I'll lean under on this one. I do think Minnesota defensively has looked better than I thought they were going to. They had a very high-scoring game last time out. It did go to double overtime, so factor that in. Where that game ended up landing, I think in the low 160s in regulation. Sorry, just pulling that up. 78. Okay, so 78-78 in regulation. So that did go under this number. So Minnesota's been going under, and you're looking at Connecticut. I do agree they are a very good defensive team. And offensively, they've been solid. Facing off against Indiana twice helps with that because we think Indiana is going to be a really bad defensive team. I'll lean under in this game. I see it being close, physical. I see a lower scoring game.
U.S. Marines. Man, we got the U.S. Marines in here. Come on. Scott, the audience is growing. We have the U.S. Marines in the chatting
Well,
with us.
you served. Not with the Marines.
Yes, I did. No way. Those guys are. Do you know those guys are crazy? Like actually crazy. Like there's actually something wrong with Marines. So absolutely not. I will chill in the cushy Air Force as I did. U.S. Marine 19207 said this isn't the NBA. Laying 6 is too much. I would implore you, if you put laying 6 in front of the three teams that the Sun have played, well, two teams, but the three games, they're 2-1. They play good defensively and they hold teams to low points totals. That's what I'm hoping here for. I think I'm gonna roll with the Lynx team total under for this one. I'm very concerned about the Suns' input. I don't really know exactly where I think of them offensively just yet, and if they're going to be able to consistently score what they've been doing recently. But I do like their defense. I think the defense is going to be live, and they're going to rattle the Lynx. So give me the team total under for the Minnesota Lynx. I got to go on Bet365 and try to find a line for that, though. All right. I don't actually think I have player props for this one, Scott. Do you see anything?
I think FanDuel is the only book that does. So I actually do see some props. You can tell me which player you might want. I can give you some.
Hold on, I'm logging in. I'm about to go see.
Yeah.
Let me see. Anything catching your eye while I chase towards the page?
Well, AT's done well for me. I had her rebounds in the first episode, 10 plus. Then I had her assists in the first one, then her rebounds on the second one, and they both got there. Her assists are at 8.5, but if I am picking a lower scoring game based on defense, I think I do want the rebounds if I had to pick, but it's at 9.5, which is kind of annoying. But I do think she's going to get there. I really can't go against AT. She's just so good. But I do think you're looking at her rebounds being at 9.5. She's gone over in 4 of the last 5. Head-to-head wise, she's actually not done well rebounding wise against Minnesota. But 10 plus rebounds in 4 straight does make it kind of appealing. I'm assuming you're on Collier, or you think Collier gets clamped by this Connecticut defense?
I mean, she had good games in the playoff series. She had a 14 in the first game, but then came back 26 and 13 and 31 points in that loss in the last game. I'm never really going against her. She's one of the best players in the league, and so I think that 24.5 is always really, really conservative with her, and they just never adjust her prop into matchups. And I think this is a game. She had 30 in another game against them. She had 21 earlier that season. Like she's had really good games against Connecticut Sun. So if anything's working, that has, and just hopefully it's not a Brianna Jones and AT double team inside of the paint. But yeah, give me Nafisa Collier. Go ahead and get it done.
If you want a head-to-head stat, I'm actually interested in. It involves DeWanna Bonner rebounds. Our numbers at 5.5 at plus 114. She's had 10 plus rebounds in 2 of the last 3 games against Minnesota, and 5.5 plus money. And she's also had at least 6 rebounds, even going back to last year, in 7 of her last 8 games. So I think Bonner rebounds is worth a look at 5.5. The over's plus 114.
All right. Let's see here. Anything else popping out?
Do you want McBride threes?
No, not on the road.
Okay.
I don't like playing. I don't like taking Kayla McBride props because I think she's really, really volatile. Like there's so many days where she'll just be like on fire, and then there's days where she can't hit the bright side of a barn.
I just know that we've
Not-
talked about her in the past for threes, so I wasn't sure if you wanted to potentially go back
yeah,
to her.
nah, I'm good on it. I'm good on it. All right. We'll go ahead and keep it moving. But before we do that, gotta talk to you about Rhythm. Rhythm's WNBA features make it easier than ever to use the data to bet all the action this season. Custom betting models in seconds with AI backed betting recommendations for every game. You can become a better bettor very easily just by using Rhythm. They have a team of data scientists constantly working on the back end. So make sure you go and you tap in and bet the W with Rhythm. Download Rhythm now and start a 7-day free trial of WNBA, golf, and more. Hey, 7 days free. WNBA, golf, and more. Go to Bet Rhythm with the Rhythm app. Let's see here. I want to see if I can pull up. The Rhythm app actually had the Fever as a play of the day today. I didn't believe. I still don't believe it. And I
I
mean,
heard Clark was banged up, but she's going to play. So,
yeah, I took her assist. I laddered
okay.
her assist up to 10.
What was the price at
So,
10?
let me go back and check. I think it's 420.
Okay. I
But
think it was in the sixes earlier today.
I want to
Those
be.
player
Yeah, I
props
wouldn't believe
like
it.
crazy, by the way. So
Yeah,
one
they
thing we
do.
taken
It's
away
insane.
from our player
You have
props,
to
the
get in the
line
night
movement
before.
on those.
Yeah, I got it for plus 420. It's at plus 410 right now.
Okay.
So yeah, man. All right. There we go. Mystics and well, that's a game that we haven't talked about. Here we go. Rhythm is on the links. They're on the links outright. Plus 233. They
Rhythm
think
and I
that
might
this
get along, so we'll
yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah, they're on the links outright. Plus 233 is a star play. 34.9% win probability. That's pretty good for a dog that's plus 233 odds, by the way. Like, don't think, but that means that they really do like the spread as well. So, hey, maybe I'm wrong on that one. I really could be
We'll
wrong on
find
that.
out.
Shout out to Rhythm. All right, let's see here. We have next game on the slate. The Chicago Sky are on the road going to play our New York Liberty. New York Liberty are laying 15.5 here. It opened up at 17.5, Sky. It's at 15.5. 165.5 is the total. That actually dropped half a point from 166. Let's see if Underdog has any injuries in this one for us. And it does not look so. So, as of right now, we can expect all the normal players to be playing in this one. Hmm. I, I don't think Isabel Harrison is going to play, though. I think she's still out. And Camila Cardosa, if nobody knows, she's returning June 1st. So June 1st is her return date from injury. Camila Cardosa. No Isabel Harrison. She's still out with an unspecified injury. I mean, nothing for the Liberty. All right. Scott, damn Angel Reese. Damn that they beat this team in the preseason because I really don't think preseason matters.
Oh, they didn't beat
Damn
this
all of
team.
that.
They won by
They
50.
yeah, they
They
demolished
won
them.
by
They
50.
they demolished them. But well, they won by 48.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
but Scott, is there any way we can lay this number with the Liberty?
I'm not doing it. So far this season, I decided right when the season started, no matter how good the Liberty or the Aces were going to be, I was not going to be laying double digits this early into the season. I just wasn't going to do it. I needed a bigger sample size. I needed to actually see how these teams performed. So far, Vegas has kind of carried me because they haven't covered a single damn time laying double digits. So it's going pretty well for me. I'm going to keep taking the points. Chicago, we saw against Dallas. I know Dallas has been banged up, but we saw that that team was feisty and they were able to win one. Arguably should have won both. And I think that this team is a bit underrated. Are they a good team? I didn't say that, but I think they're decent enough to keep this game somewhat close. The Liberty have been good so far this season. We saw them kind of play with their foot a little bit against the. I'm trying to remember who they played in the first game of the season.
Fever.
Well, they've let Indiana kind of hang around. They'll let the Mystics hang around in the first game. They're actually losing a decent portion of that game before they kind of turned it around there in the second half. They're 4-0, but you're looking at the actual margin of wins, and it really has not been that impressive. They beat Indiana one time by 26. Then they had a rematch, or sorry, by 36. Game after that, won by 11 against Indiana again. Game after that, won by 11 against Seattle. They
They're
really have
1-3
not done a
against
great
the
job
spread.
of covering it, like these massive numbers. So I'll take the Sky to hang in there.
Yeah, 1-3 against the spread for the New York Liberty this season. I just can't. I can't back them with this large of a number. They'll have to prove it to me, but it's been 1-3 at this point. Again, 1-3, and they're getting numbers this at this point, like this high, 15.5, 14.5, 13.5, not covering, not covering, not covering. I'm over it. I'm over it. Sky plus 15.5 here, and guess what, Scott?
You're
Rhythm
taking
like
the money line.
Sky plus 15.5. Yeah, I mean, of course I'm
Yeah,
sprinkling
okay.
on the money line. I'm not taking a 15.5 point dog and not sprinkling on the money line, even if it is my team. But 62.6 win probability for the Sky plus 15.5 tomorrow. 62.6 Rhythm AI. Shout out to Rhythm. They think that the Sky make this an 11-point loss, not a 15-point loss.
Well, it makes sense because the Liberty have won their last 2 games by exactly 11 points. So that does check out.
Yeah, it does. All right, so 165.5 is the total here.
If I'm picking Chicago, then aren't we kind of going with the under?
Yeah.
Or do you think that Chicago
New
can
York.
actually break 80?
And remember last year, this Chicago, I mean, it's not the same. It's clearly not the same team, but they did give the New York Liberty fits.
Yeah. They won a game or 2 against them last year. Didn't they beat them in the Commissioner's Cup, actually?
They won, was it 1 or 2 games? Was it
I
so
know they
they lost?
definitely
No,
beat
they
them in.
lost. So this was it. It was they lost they had it was Kalia Copper had a great game. They lost the first game by 1.
Okay.
Liberty came back and won by 1. Then they went to New York the next game and won outright in New York as
I think
11 and
that
a
was a
half point
Commissioner's
dogs.
Cup game, which didn't
Yeah.
matter in hindsight because the Liberty won the Commissioner's Cup anyway. But the point is, this guy went in there with decent stakes, and they actually got the job done.
The Sky take well, that was a different regime, but they take those Commissioner Cup games seriously.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think it's too many. Now, for the sake of the total, I'll lean under. If I'm picking the Liberty to still win the game, because I'm not picking the Sky to win outright, but if I'm
Mhm.
picking the Sky to hang in there, I'm not picking them to light it up and score like 80. I think you're looking at a lower scoring game. Maybe not as low scoring as the last game the Liberty played, where the game didn't even
Mhm.
reach 140 against Seattle. But I see it getting to the 150s, maybe the low
Mhm.
160s. But I just think this game is going to scream like 82 to 71, something like that, like a fringe double digit win, but the total's really never in danger. I'll go with the under in this one.
All right. I'm on the under as well. I'll take a Liberty team total under. Sky been
Okay.
Teresa Weatherspoon and what she's doing with this Sky bunch, and I just think that they're going to be so locked in defensively. And the Wings were a great test for them defensively early on in the season. They had to play bigs that were much bigger than them. They had to play an offense that could score from anywhere on the court and that loved to run up points. And they went and won a game. And they held them to 74 and 79. Well, the first one was 87, but 87 and 74 points. So very good defensive showing the second game, really locked in. That was enough for me. I like Teresa Withers when I liked her as a player, and I think that she's going to be a really good coach for them and really have them locked in defensively. So
You can
yeah,
tell. You can tell as
Liberty.
soon as the season started, despite the team not having high expectations and having a lot of youth, they try their asses off on defense.
Yo, the first half was really good. It's just the second half it fell off for them. So
And that's
yeah,
also
I
good with
like.
the under, because the offense occasionally sputters because they're young. So that works out well to the under. This guy might be an under team for most of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, let's see player props. I will toss out Angel Reese
I keep taking her
because
rebounds, and she keeps getting there.
oh
So
well today today we take our points. We play the points today, and it's because I, being the diehard that I am, watched that preseason game. And you can say as much as you want that preseason, and it doesn't matter. Like the end result doesn't matter. But I watched Brianna Stewart try to guard Angel Reese, and I watched Angel Reese absolutely torch her inside. Oh, she cooked her, Scott. She cooked her multiple times. You're telling me I'm getting a full game of that matchup? Oh yeah, yeah, all day. Angel Reese, give me a what's this line at? I will take the over on points for Angel Reese. I do like the rebounds as well. I think the double double is in play here as well. And that's another. I just think this is a really good Angel Reese game back in New York City with the bright lights, everybody around her. She shows up. Angel Reese has a really good day. If I can pull up the right app so that I can pull up her prop.
I don't see
Here we
points by itself. As of right now, I see 18.5 points and rebounds. So with it being 7.5 rebounds, you can infer it's going to be around 11.5 for points.
Yeah. So Angel Reese points is at 11.5. You were right. Minus 106 over. We have the rebounds at
7.5
over minus 102. And then we can play her double at plus
360.
340. Well, 360. Okay. All right. Scott. It's gonna be the Angel Reese game. And it's gonna be because they're just gonna put her in opportunities to succeed. And now looking at one of the best teams in the league, looking at this group, look at how they talk about her, how they talk about all these rookies, they want to give them the most opportunities to succeed. This is a really, really good matchup for her, especially if she's able to duck Jonquel Jones the entire game and just kind of headhunt and take out Breanna Stewart. Yeah, she's absolutely gonna go off.
The concern's been foul trouble for her so far, as she's picked up 9 fouls in her first 2 games. So hopefully she gets that under control. You're looking at Angel Reese, though, and she's been able to score 12 points in the first game and 11 in the second game, and she can't shoot. So far this season, 5 of 14 in game 1, 3 of 9 in game 2. She also went 2 of 8 from the foul line in the first game, 5 of 7 in the second game. So she's been getting the points, and she's been shooting the ball horribly from the floor. So assuming the efficiency actually picks up, she might be a threat to go for 15 and change. You might be able to find some alt-point numbers.
No, 15 is plus 260. I was literally just about to say that. 15 is plus 260. I feel like we should be on it.
If she just makes a couple of these post layups and she's able to actually continue getting to the line and maybe avoids foul trouble and gets a bump in minutes to like 30, she can definitely get to 15. The issue is just right now her post game is very, very raw and it looks a little bit uncomfortable. If she just works on that, there's going to be a lot of value on her points.
All right. Anything else you like, Scott?
Vandersloot under in points.
Vandersloot under in everything. Actually, what's her PRA?
I don't want to say that she's cooked, but we got to at least talk about Vandersloot.
No, she just doesn't have a role. She's not. I don't even think she's cooked. She doesn't have a role. Everybody else is doing everything. Sabrina's literally going out there and doing everything. Breanna Stewart's still scoring. You have Jonquel Jones who's rebounding and she's scoring. You have Benaja Lady who's playing defense everywhere. She's doing everything. She's scoring. Like everybody's doing everything. Somebody's got to miss out, and it's Courtney Vandersloot. Like she's not
saying,
even.
If you score 0 numbers in your last game, I'm taking your under 9.5. If you score 0 in your last game, I think Vandersloot under for points is worth a look. She doesn't really shoot that much in general, so yeah. And you said her role's not really there. Probably for the better, because that means that Ionescu's getting the ball more, but there's going to be somebody who is going to be the odd one out, and you're looking at Vandersloot, and offensively, it wasn't even just 0 points. She took 1 shot in the entire game, and they won comfortably. So it just feels like Vandersloot, does she really do much off-ball? Not really. So if the ball's not in her hands, what does she actually do? I think Vandersloot points is too high. I'll take the lower on that.
Yeah, I'm on the lower on Courtney Vandersloot. Assists 6.5. I don't think that she's.
I don't really want any overs with Vandersloot at this point.
Yeah, she's just been. It's been a non-existent role. It's been a non-existent role on.
And the Liberty don't care. They're 4-0, so they're not going to change anything.
Let's see here. Who else? Anybody else we want to shout out before we move on?
I think Laney's activity can give Chicago some problems, but I'm not sure if I actually want to go with her prop.
Yeah, I feel like I'm sleeping on Benaja Laney. Like, well, I'm not. I know I'm not sleeping on her. I know that she's good, but it's just like I don't find myself just running to bet her props, and I'm wondering why, because she's been really, really good.
I think it's because she's like the 3rd or 4th option on the team, and she's still set at like 13.5. I think that's pretty much why.
20, 12, 13, 13. Like she's there. She's there.
She's like right there.
Yeah, like
promise it's 13.5.
All right. That's tough. Okay. Let's see here.
Unless you want Brianna like PRA or something, because she's doing everything for this team.
No, really. What's Jonquel do against them last year? Let's see.
I can pull that up.
6 and 8. She had 18 and 7. She had 9 and 6, 10 and 2. Yeah, that's nothing. But some of those are in short minutes also. Yeah, I'm gonna just stick with the Angel Reese play as my big play.
Hopefully she doesn't get into foul trouble.
Yeah, man, that would really ruin my day. That would. Hey, by the way, I'm going live to watch this game tomorrow. You can join Scott. I'm going live. Send the invite out to the Discord. Send an invite out to everybody that listens to the pod. Going on playback.tv. Make sure you download their app, Playback app, and just live with me. We can bring people up on stage. Y'all can talk about some live bets. All of that's going to be a good time. So we're going to do that. I'll have that set up tonight, and I'm going to drop it in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord, and I'll also drop a link on Twitter as well at @reallyreal__. But we will be watching that game live, going back and forth between that and the Lynx and Sun game.
You want to move on
Where
to the
we at?
last game?
Yeah, let's get into slate. The Washington Mystics on the road going to play the Phoenix Mercury. Mercury are laying 6.5 here. 161.5 is the total for this one. Injury report here. I did see some news pop up over. So we have D.D. Richards, who is probable to play for the Washington Mystics. We have Shakira Austin, who is probable to play for the Washington Mystics. Brittany Sykes for the Mystics is ruled out. That's today. I'm sorry. And yeah, no, that's it. Nothing for the Phoenix Mercury. Everything for the Washington Mystics.
I mean, based on what we've seen so far this season, are we just picking the Mercury and moving on?
Okay,
Unless
but
it's
I have to say this. Because the line dropped to 2. It opened up at 4.5. Because the line closed at 2, the Washington Mystics are technically 2-1-1 against the spread this season.
Okay.
But in all actuality, and they're really like 3-1 because they for the majority of the people got 3 or 4.5 in that line against the Sparks. If you took Mystics, like, you majority of people got 3, 4.5. So they've been competitive. They've been competitive in all these games. However, my thing here is, one, not only Brittany Sykes being out, and Shakira Austin playing is definitely going to be a lift. And I think this is the day that we roll back on the Shakira Austin props and we just play those again, because there's no option on the inside for the Mercury. They don't have anybody of that size and stature. I really do think the Mercury are about to train roll them, though. Like, I think they're just going to go out here and get this done. And it may be competitive for like a half or a little while, but for 4 quarters, I'm just gonna trust the team that looks good offensively and defensively, and that's the Mercury, and just hope that Clea Copper has a really good game. But now she's not looking at Natasha Cloud on the other side of her in the Mystics jersey. She's now in the same jersey as Natasha Cloud, and that's gonna make things a lot easier for her. So even though I still do think that this Mystics team is a solid defensive bunch, I think that the Mercury just got a little bit more. So give me the Mercury to get this done, laying 6.5.
Yeah, this team's just good. Just simply put, I was potentially seriously wrong about this team. I thought that the talent was there. I thought that maybe the chemistry would be an issue. So far, they've been great. And Copper is right now a dark horse MVP candidate. I think it's going to fall off at some point because you can't keep walking into 37. But she's been great. You know, you wonder when you get these new players if they're going to take some time to transition to the new environment, and maybe it might take a little, time to actually adjust. They've had to adjust to her because she's been kicking ass. So yeah, Copper's been great. With Sykes being out, I just feel like Phoenix has like 2 or 3 of the best players on the court in this game. It just feels like there's a talent disparity here. And there definitely is a tier gap between these two teams. And Phoenix in years past has been really bad on the road and really good at home. So they tend to be really good at home. I like Phoenix in this spot.
And that zone is really, really gonna fuck with the Mystics, and they're gonna need Ariel Atkins. Which one is it? Carly Samuelson, Ariel Atkins. They're gonna need them to be light. Stephanie Dawson. They're gonna need them to be lights out from 3. Walker Kimbrough, like all of those 3-point shooters that they have that they use. Marisha Hines Allen, like, they're really, really gonna need all of them to be lights out from 3, especially
That's the
going up
prop
against
angle,
that
by the
zone
way.
defense.
We just take some 3-point shooters for Washington.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. And if they would stop being, I try not to curse as much, but if they would just stop being scaredy babies and give us props on everybody instead of, the top 2, 3, 4 players, then we would be in line. Because is Carly Samuelson 3? No, Carly Samuelson threes are still up here. They're
I only
still
have
not up here.
one Mystics player up, and that's Atkins at 1.5.
Yes, and that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But it's like even closer to game time, it doesn't happen. Yet she's had 2 games with 3+3s already this season. Like, come on, give us the option. Give us the option. All right. Before we get to the player props and all of that portion, 161.5.
I kind of want the over, I guess. I know you just mentioned that the zone of the Mercury might give the Mystics some problems, but the Mercury offensively have just been really good so far this season. They play with pace, they've been efficient. Copper's been great. I mean, you're going through the point numbers here, and they scored 98 against the Aces, which is just insane. Scored 88 against the Dream, and scored 80 against the Aces. So I like them offensively. They might be able to push the pace in this game again. We saw the Mystics score 80 against the Liberty in the first game. I don't mind the over in this game. I think the Mystics are going to want to run. I think actually the Mercury want to run. I think the Mystics might partake. So I'll lean to the over in this game.
I will take Washington team total under 77.5.
Okay.
And that's because they have not gotten over this line in the past 3 games. The only time they got over it was against the New York Liberty, where they scored 80. And that's with Brittany Sykes playing a portion of that game. But Connecticut, Seattle, LA, they haven't gotten there. Road trip, I'm gonna continue to fade them scoring under team total 77.5. And slight lean for the under for the game because of that. But I'm nervous about that one. I would just play it by the team total for me. Player props, like I said, no Carly Samuelson, even though she's had 3+3s in 2 games and she's clearly has the green light from 3. So I will give you Shakira Austin because we again have another matchup where we have a big against the Phoenix Mercury, who are devoid of any type of size on the inside at all. However, I will say Natasha Mack has been playing very good for them. Very, very good. And she's been holding it down on the inside. It may not be a lot, but it's something. And I'll give it to them. So they got Natasha Mack, who's been playing pretty solid, actually. All right. Here we go.
Shakira. I'm taking Cloud rebounds.
How far up can we take Shakira Austin?
You want points? So you want the rebounds for Austin?
I'm playing both. 9.5 points is at -138 right now. I'm gonna play that to 15 at +385. And then what's her rebounds at? Because I definitely think a double-double is in the realm possibility for her. I actually don't see a rebounds prop for her. So, yeah, I don't see a rebounds prop for her. Let me see if they have a double-double available here. Here we go. Quarter double-double. No, I don't even have a double-double prop. All right. So we'll see about Shakira Austin rebounds in another time. But Scott, you said you have a Natasha Cloud rebounds play.
Yeah, either rebounds or potentially rebounds and assists. She's been great so far this season. Her numbers at 10.5 for rebounds and assists is at -144, so it is juiced. But even dating back to last year, she's had at least 11 in 8 of her last 9. So far this season, she has had at least 15 in 2 of the 3. So she's been phenomenal. If you want to just go for rebounds, it's at 4.5 at -138. She's had at least 5 dating back to last year and 8 of the last 9. She's had at least 7 rebounds in 2 of the 3 games so far this season. I just think Cloud's numbers are way off based on the props. I think the prop lines are way too low. So give me Cloud probably going for rebounds and assists because she did have 10 assists last game. That line feels a bit off. So I'll back Natasha Cloud.
Yeah, I actually think that double-double. Well, it's at +650. I feel like it lost some juice. I feel like it's not normally that. It's probably more. It thought it would be more than that, but
because she had 10 last game, so that
I thought that's how I would back her. I would back her with the double. I hate that she had a double-double last game, by the way, too. But I would back her with a double-double in the revenge game. That's how I would play the revenge game. Maybe threes if they come out with a threes play. Maybe it'd be a threes play, but I wouldn't take just. I don't think I'm on a pure points play for Natasha Cloud. I think it would have to be threes, but they don't even have that up. Wait. 1 made 3 is -122. 2 made 3s is +470, Scott.
Okay, that's fun.
Scott, +470. I just need 2 threes in a revenge game. That's it. 2 open looks and they go in.
What can possibly go wrong?
Come on now. All right, anything else you got for this one?
No, not really. I just think it's going to be a pretty fun fight in general, but the Mercury are better than I thought they would be. So,
All right. Let's close it out with our favorites, lock, dog, and yeah, that's gonna be it. Okay. For my lock. Hmm.
I feel like you're going to go player props in this episode. I
Pot-
just have that feeling.
Potentially. What is the Liberty's team total? Let me go. Hold on. I'm going on Bet365 to find out.
I'm
What
going to
is
see if I
that
can find
number?
that.
If
I
that
mean, you
number,
could always estimate it based on what the full game total is with the spread.
so team props, so it's at 90.5. Come on, Scott. Are
That
they?
sounds
I don't.
massive. That's
Nah,
massive.
man. I don't think they're gonna do it. I don't think they're gonna do it. 90
They
and a
might not
half.
need to.
Yeah. What if they don't?
I said they would win the game like 82-71. I have them winning and not getting close to 90.5. So, yeah, that could easily be the way this game unfolds.
Let's see. Hold on. Liberty. So let's see. In their 4 games, they have 74, 91, 102, 85. And also, this is their 5th game. This is Chicago's 3rd. This is their 5th game since we started the podcast last week. This is their 5th
Mhm.
game. That's
No
a
days
lot,
off.
man. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. All right. I am taking the New York Liberty team total under 90.5. I think that Teresa Weatherspoon has this Sky bunch playing up to potential. And while I think the only way that this gets out of hand for them is if the Liberty actually do cover this 15.5. And I don't think that they're covering the 15.5. I think that this is going to be a pretty solid defensive game. Now, is it going to be no sweat? Is this going to fall in the 70s for the Liberty? Probably not. But I definitely think that they're not going to get as high as 90. Luckily, it is 90.5. If it was like 89.5, or if it was 88.5, I may not have just felt so good about it. But I really, really don't think that they're going to get the 90. Like, I really don't. So, Liberty team total under 90.5.
All right.
That's my lock.
So
For my dog.
okay. I lost track. I
Uh,
forgot you didn't do your dog yet. Sorry. My bad.
It's all good. For my dog, we have a lot of player prop options, Scott. We do. I can go same game with Angel Reese. I can go with. I think I want to go with. Do I want to go with Kira, or should I just be? Should I just do Natasha? What is Natasha Cloud been shooting like to begin the season? Let's see. Make sure. 101. Okay, it would be. I mean, it's a crazy time to just go ahead and get 2 in a game against the. I'm not gonna make it my dog. I'm not gonna make my dog. Fine. All right. I'm gonna just stick with same game here. And no, I lied. Give me Nafisa.
Okay.
Nafisa, 25 plus points. I went there and I pulled a fast one and just switched up for you because Nafisa is really good and she has really good games against this Connecticut bunch. And if there's anybody that I think that can step up to a revenge game against the Connecticut Sun, it's Nafisa Collier. And so Nafisa Collier's 25 plus points is at 180.5. She's averaged 24.5 through her 2 games this season. Right there. I think that this is a good number and we're getting some plus money value here. So yeah, give me Nafisa Collier to go over her points prop of 25 plus points for plus 180, Scott. Now over to you.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go with 2 plus money plays actually. For
Mm.
my lock, I thought about doing Cloud, but I think I'm gonna save her for my dog. I'm gonna go with Bonner. I mentioned the rebounds before at 5.5 at plus 114. I think it's a good value deal. You're looking at Bonner so far this season. She does land on 6 a lot, but that's fine with me if she ends up with 6. She's had 6 plus in 8 of her last 10, 7 of her last 8. And in the head-to-head, she's been great. She's had 10 plus rebounds in 2 of the last 3 games against the Lynx. The only game in the middle, she had exactly 5. So 5.5 at plus 114. I like the value. There's no way that's closing at 5.5 at plus 114. I'll take it now before that line moves. For my dog, I did mention Cloud rebounds and assists. You know what? I'm going with the assists, 7.5. Natasha Cloud, 8 plus assists is plus 245. She had 10 last game. It's a revenge game. The ball's in her hands a lot. The Mercury score a bunch of points. I like the value. Give me Cloud 8+ assists at plus 245.
All right, let me see. I'm getting this into our sheet here. You say Cloud 8+ assists at plus 245.
Yep. And the Bonner one was 6+ rebounds at plus 114.
All right, there we go. Scott. I mean, we may not be able to, but it'll be out. We may not be able to give you an underdog lineup like here and put it in, but it'll be out, and you can take Cloud higher on assists, Bonner higher on rebounds, and Collier higher on points, and that'll be 6-1. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN, and $100 get you $600 when that underdog lineup cashes for us. All right, Scott. Anything else for people before we get up out of here?
No, fun episode. Looking forward to the games, and of course, I got the NBA going on right now, so a lot of basketball.
Yeah, a lot of basketball going on. Almost at tip for Fever in Seattle. Hey, let me just go ahead and, like I said, tweet it out. Kelsey Mitchell, ladder her up to 25 points. Jewel Lloyd, ladder her up to 30 points. Caitlin Clark, I laddered her up to 10 rebounds, 10 assists. So I actually don't have anything else to say, nothing else to do. Appreciate everybody for supporting us. If you are a first-time listener, thank you and welcome. Make sure you give us a like on the video before you dip up out of here, and drop some comments. Keep dropping comments. That's really, really helping us, and it's helped getting this podcast and growing it. By the time we get to the summer, this chat should be lit with 100 people in the chat at any given time. So let's go ahead and let's, as the kids would say, turn it up. So I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just end it like this. We are out of here.